Okay everyone, so welcome again to another one of our lessons, and in this session I just want to go and add a background image here in our child original story section. And I also want to go and talk about the HTML multimedia here, so at least we'll have some more information about what are the different multimedia we can use inside of HTML. And let's also go and try to use the iframe tag specifically by using another website, and we will be trying to embed some music here. I actually have a band from where I have some music, original music that I've written. I'm the lyricist of this band. So you would see that through the use of the iframe tag, and this is a website that I don't own, you would see here that we uploaded here some of our original songs. So I've already written some of these songs together with my bandmates, and we'll try to insert the songs here into our homepage here as an exercise for using the iframe tag. So you would see that this is actually similar to YouTube, from where in YouTube you have video files, but here we have audio files that we can go and link to our web page. So this is a web page that is a platform from where bands like our band were able to upload our songs, and there will be a lot of people who can listen to them while they're using the web page here. So you would see I can play the song here. So we can see that we were able to play one of our songs here using the platform here, so that some website visitors to Reverb Nation can listen to our songs. And we will try to go and connect the songs that we have here through the use of a code snippet that we can embed into our website here, so that the viewers of our website will have an option for them to play the music that is uploaded here in Reverb Nation, and they can play the music here on our website even though this is not yet uploaded or public on the web. While we're working on this, we can see an example on how we can go and communicate with other websites and get some code snippets and then embed those multimedia content such as audio files that are uploaded here in this website, and we can use that to be available here in our website that we are currently building. So let's try to go and do that. But first, let's try to go through the HTML multimedia documentation here. And it says here that the multimedia on the web is sound, music, videos, movies, and animations. And for the question, for those who are still not familiar what multimedia means, it can come in many different formats. It can be almost anything that you can hear or see, like images, music, sound, videos, records, films, animations, and more. And most of the time, you will be seeing a lot of multimedia elements for different types of multimedia and formats. So we do have here some browser support, and it says here that the first web browsers had support for text only, limited to a single font in a single color. Then when there were advancement in technology, browsers can now support colors, fonts, images, and multimedia. So we do have a lot of multimedia formats. Multimedia elements like audio or video are stored in media files. We know that we will know the type of a multimedia by looking at the file extension, and we do have extensions such as .wav, MP3, MP4, MPEG, WMV, and AVI. And some of the common video formats are the following. We have MP4, WebM, and OGG formats, which are supported by HTML, as we've discussed in the previous lessons. And MP4 is the format that is recommended by YouTube. So you would see here the description of the different formats. MPEG, we now understand that it was developed by the Moving Pictures Expert Group. We have here AVI, which means Audio Video Interleave, which was developed by the Microsoft community. WMV, We can see here the explanation of the acronym Windows Media Video. We also have QuickTime that was developed by Apple, Real Video developed by Real Media, Flash developed by Macromedia, and OGG developed by Zip. I'm not sure if that's the pronunciation of this. And we also have WebM developed by Mozilla, Opera, Adobe, and Google, and MP4. And we also have here common audio formats. So at least you will have an idea that these are the types of audio and video formats that you can see in the market. We also now know that the following file extensions actually have certain meaning, like musical instrument digital interface for MIDI. Real audio would mean developed by Real Media, that's why it's RM.RM. So at least now we are more aware of the following acronyms that we have here, like WMA, Windows Media Audio, AAC, Advanced Audio Coding, WAV, that was developed by IBM, Microsoft. And we also have here again the OGG format, the MP3 files, and MP4. So now moving to the iframe tag here, we can see here that the usage of the iframe tag will be specifying an inline frame, which is used to embed another document within the current HTML document. So we can see here that some of the tips will be CSS can be used to style the iframe, and it is a good practice to always include a title attribute for the iframe, and this is used by screen readers to read out what the content of the iframe is. And if we try to go and try it yourself here, while we're waiting for that to load, we can see here some of the attributes. Allow will be specifying a feature policy for the iframe. So we can see here allow full screen, that will be given some values here, that if we give it a value or we set it to true, we can activate the full screen mode by calling the request full screen method. This is related to JavaScript. And if we go down here, we can also use an API or an application programming interface. Here we have the attribute for the height, and the default value will be 150 pixels. At least you are now more aware and you know that these are things that are existing. So I just want you to go through some of the other attributes here, but I just want to emphasize here that there are situations you might need to use an API in the future, especially when you're going to be accepting some payment request coming from one website to another website. So at least you now know that there's such a term that exists. At least you can do some advanced reading about what API or APIs are all about. So I actually opened up here some explanation on what an API is. So we have here an application programming interface, which is a computing interface which defines interaction between multiple software intermediaries. It defines the kinds of calls or requests that can be made, how to make them, the data formats that should be used, and the conventions to follow. So I would suggest that you go and do some more reading about APIs, because this will be something that you will be using in the near future when it comes to web development and some projects that you will be working on in the near future. So moving forward here, guys, I now just want to go and get the code snippet that was generated by Reverb Nation here, and I can actually do that by using the embed link here, and you would see that it generated for me an iframe with the following attributes. You would also see here that we have the term here that we can click WordPress compatible. So don't worry about the word WordPress. I'm going to go and create a video lesson on an introduction to WordPress in this course. So at least you'll have a little bit of introduction on what are the benefits if you know the basics of HTML and you go and start working with WordPress. Okay, so I would want to go and use the smaller version here. So I'm going to go and copy this and then go to our code editor, and I would want to go and place that just below our paragraphs here. So let's see what that will look like if we try to go and refresh this. And now if I go down here, you would see now that we have the player here. Now, if we go back to our code editor, you would see that the attributes that are available here, you would see now that these are the attributes that Reverb Nation used for connecting the songs that are inside of their website to our website. And I'm sure that by now you are understanding what this is all about. This is an inline style. We have here the source attribute. And if we want to go and read more about the frame border attribute, now it's more on researching about how to use these certain attributes, specifically of the iframe tag or element, so that we can go and play around with the code snippet that we got from Reverb Nation. So I'm hoping you're getting the idea here, everyone, that right now, I just want to go and congratulate you because you're now more knowledgeable about the different elements that you can use and the attributes that you can play around with, because I'm sure by now you are already understanding how you can go and do some research and find out how you can maximize the use of some of these attributes that was generated or used by the Reverb Nation website when we requested it for an iframe element that we can use for us to be able to insert and link a music player into our website. So I just wanted to use that as an example for the iframe element here. Now what I want to go do next is to just go and add some background image in our project here for the children's stories section or for the my original story section. So what I'm going to do next here is I'm just going to go look for Madhyar Modi and Splash, but I've already downloaded this. This is just going to be a review for you guys. So if you remember, Unsplash is the resource from where you can go get and download for free some of the free photos that some photographers are uploading into their site. And I just want to emphasize here that it's really important that you go take note of the size of the image that you will be downloading, because it's not advisable that you download a large size of a photo for a website, because that will be sometimes affecting the loading time of your images. This is just something that you have to consider when you're building and optimizing your sites. So I want you to be aware that when it comes to the pillars of good design, it's really important that you also consider the download time of some of the multimedia that you will be using for your site. So we can actually use the small here, and if you download this, you would see that we have here a photo by Madhyar Modi on Unsplash. So we can go and click on that, we can copy that, and we can go and save this here in our document. So I'm just going to cancel this because I've already downloaded this file. And now what I'm going to do is just I'm going to go get and place that photo span here. And let me just go check our homepage here and see, there you go, there it is. Now we will just be applying some styling for this. Now what I want to do next is I'm going to go and place this inside of a div element with the class div that span, and let me just copy this here. So this will be photo credit span, and I would want to go and use the photo that we have downloaded, and I'm going to go and target the section class that we've made here. So that will be this children's stories. So let's go back to our style sheet here and look for that section. And here, what I want to do here is to go and add a background image, URL, images, and look for that photo And now let's try to go and give it a background size cover. Let's also go and center this by specifying the background position center. Let's try to go and first refresh this. Let's see how that will look like. Okay, so we can see now that there's a background image behind our children stories section, as you can see here. So now it's looking a lot more like a website that has different sections. Now what I want to do is just to target this my original stories here. So I'm going to give it a class name. So it's an H1 and I want to name it class children stories heading 1. So let's go and apply some stylings for this. Let's go up here. Where's the section for the children's stories? Oops. Let me just save that. Now let me just go and specify some properties here. I want the position to be absolute. Background color would be RGB 165 42 42. I want the display to be inline. Oops. Text shadow would be 0, 4 pixels, 2 pixels, 9-148. Border radius will be 20 pixels, padding of 20 pixels, top. So these are attributes that we've already so far used from our previous sessions. So I'm not going to be explaining it in detail anymore. And now let's try to go see how this will look on our browser. Okay, so it went up here. So now we will need to go and have this relative to a parent element. Okay, so what I want you to do next would be for you to go and try to figure out on how you can bring this down here in our children's story section. So that will be our coding challenge exercise for this lesson. So good luck and see you on our next lessons.